Welcome to the Nittany Report, presented by SteelFlyers All Sports Network, a show where each week after the final whistle of the Penn State game, your host, SteelFlyers, will break down each game with key plays, up-to-the-minute stats, and great commentary. From Happy Valley to all points in the Big Ten and beyond, we are Penn State. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nittany Report, and we are here with the 2024 season preview. That's right. Join me. I'm your host, Ron SteelFlyers, and we will be bringing you all the latest on the Nittany Lions football, and we're going to be doing a quick little season preview. So thank you all very much for hopping on and checking us out. Can't wait to get into it. Please by all means, please go over to the SteelFlyers.com/links/Nittany Report. Check out the website. Got the latest and greatest shows there for you. So what do you say we dive right into the deep end? What do you think? Shall we? Should we? Okay, we're gonna. All right. Here we go. Okay. This is our 2024 season preview, and with Beaver Stadium getting some upgrades this summer, so too are the Lions. Looking for some upgrades on both sides of the ball here. So let's get started with one little quick thing here. How about Penn State coming out of the gates ranked number 8 in the AP poll? Well, I'll tell you what. That's exuberant, I would say. Let's just say that's pretty awful high ranking for the Nittany Lions, especially after losing some players to the draft this past offseason. So we'll see. I mean, they went to a bowl game and they did really well and everything else like that, but we'll see here with the loss of some players, Joey Porter Jr. being one of them, Chop Johnson being another one. So those are guys that are going to be sorely missed, as well as some of the offensive linemen that we're going to get into as well that have gone away as well. And now we need the guys to step up. Some changes on the coaching side as well that we're going to get into, and some other things as well. So first of all, the Nittany Lions open up the season with the 2024 against the West Virginia Volunteers, and this is going to be on August 31st. So be looking for that game. That's going to be an interesting game for sure. It's going to be at West Virginia, so we shall see how that all rock and rolls for the Lions. So with all the upgrades and everything else like that's been going on here, especially with Beaver Stadium and everything else like that, we're talking about this young man right here, Drew Alar. This being his second full-time season as a starter, and he did kind of have some ups and downs a little bit last season as a starter, full-time starter. But I mean, he's young, he's growing into it, he's got the body, and now with the hiring of Andy Kotelnicki, hope I said that right, with the hiring of Andy Kotelnicki as the new offensive coordinator, hopefully we're going to see some different things here out of Drew, maybe some improvements. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, 25 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions, that's pretty freaking good if you ask me. I mean, could probably increase the completion percentage from just getting almost 60% to maybe a little bit more, and maybe a little bit more yards. As far as that's concerned, rushing, Drew is not afraid to tuck the ball down and run and do what he needs to do in order to get the first down, or if there's a big gaping hole in the middle of the field, he's not afraid to run and take care of business. So there's there's not a problem as far as that's concerned. He did get over 200 yards rushing in the season this past year. So he's not afraid to tuck the ball and run, and he's big enough and capable enough of taking those licks a little bit downfield. You know what I mean? So we're going to be interested to see how this is all going to pan out here with a lot of the other keys to the offense that are going to come into play here, especially with Drew being in the second year as a starter. You know what I mean? So he's got some weapons to throw to, Lambert Smith being one of them. So if he's going to be able to have some guys to play and throw to this year, that's going to be helpful. He needs to work on getting rid of the ball a little quicker, making the reads a little quicker at the offensive line. So we'll see. We'll see. I think the offensive coordinator is going to help and help try to put him in more of the right path. So we'll see how that goes with Drew. I'm excited about this coming season for Drew, and we'll look to see what he can do. You know what I mean? We haven't had a quarterback in Penn State. I mean, we've had McSorley, we've had Clifford, Sean Clifford last year and the year before and everything else like that. But I get it. But we haven't really had an NFL caliber type quarterback that I think Drew could be. He definitely has all the tools. Let's just see if he can put it together and make a season out of it here. He's still young and up and coming. So, I mean, this is only his second full year as a starter. So I'm interested to see how things all going to roll with him. You know what I mean? But I would have to say for 2023, a pretty solid effort for Drew, for sure. Another major impact, I think, that's going to be keys to the Penn State offense is also going to be these two gentlemen right here. The tandem of Singleton and Allen. Katron getting the bulk of the yards last year with a little bit of a higher average as far as yards per carry with a 1 yard better average. But he just also had longer runs, and he was just more of the up and down runner, I guess. And Singleton was more of the bounce it outside, had a lot more catches and things of that nature. So both were 1,000-yard contributors all day on the ground and through the air. But both of them, respectively, not quite getting 1,000 yards, with Katron Allen getting the closest with 900 yards, and then Singleton getting 752. Honestly, either running back could be featured in this offense, and to be honest with you, I got no problems with either one of these two guys running the ball or catching the ball out of the backfield. Both of them are very capable. Both of them have shown that they are able to go out to the flats and get those catches and be that safety valve for Drew, but they need to be a little bit better on it. I think Singleton is a little bit better at doing the third down and block and blitz pickups, but I think Katron Allen has definitely improved last year in that role as well. So both guys could be out there for third down. Be looking for another running back to come in as a third down back or a third-headed monster to this. Some rumors of a running back coming out of camp that might be competing for some touches on the running back side as well too. So be looking for that this coming season. But all in all, great seasons for both of these young players last year, both of them coming back this year, and looking for improvements for both of these guys, looking for more bite of the apple here. Just can't wait to see how these guys go. Would like to see an all-pro season, or not an all-pro season, but you know what I'm talking about here. An award-winning season from one of these offensive players here would be great to see coming out of the running backs for Penn State. That would be cool. I mean, I think both of these running backs could be capable on their own, but together, boy, they are a great 1-2 punch for Penn State and for Colton Nicky here for the offensive coordinator, new at Penn State. And here's the other thing too that's the key to this offensive, whatever you want to call it here for Penn State. I wouldn't call it a juggernaut or anything by that stretch of the word, but let's just say this: this is one of the major things that needs to come together. This offensive line needs to produce. They took a hit. They got with some players that went in the draft with a center uh, that went. His name was, let's see here. Yeah, I have him down here. I have him down here. Hold on a second. Yeah, they lost Alu Fashanu, left tackle, Caden Wallace, right tackle, and then they lost Hunter Norzad, the center. So those are big losses for the offensive line. Those guys were all drafted last year, so there's going to have to be some guys that are going to have to step up. Drew Singleton, Cooper Cousins, Javon Williams are going to have to take Vega Ione, are going to have to take those steps for this Penn State offensive line in order for them to be successful. With the offensive line coach, Phil, and gosh, I hope I say his name too. Uh, Troutenween, Troutenween. I hope I say his name right, but he's been with the team since 2020, and he's done nothing but improve the offensive line play all day to the tune of. Let's face it here, this team has gotten 211 yards rushing per game. That's good production all day, even in the pros, to get that kind of offensive line production. They only allowed 16 sacks in all of 2023. And there was some injuries and there were some guys that were in and out of the lineup and everything else like that last year. And so that's that's saying something. That's keeping your quarterback's uniform clean when you only have 16 sacks allowed. You know what I mean? They only allowed, um, or they put up 388 yards per game. I mean, that's pretty good for an offense. And they scored 49 touchdowns for the whole year. That's pretty good for an offensive line. I think a lot of it has to do with Troutween being the offensive line coach there, and then also having some of those players like we talked about, Javon Williams and Drew Shelton and some of those younger guys coming in, Cooper Cousins, to take over for the losses that they had in the draft. So this offensive line needs to come together, needs to prove that they're capable and continue on their path with their yards allowed or yards per game that they're able to get for rushing, the yards per game that they're able to get total, the number of touchdowns that they're able to score, the how they're able to block and take care of business and keep Drew Alar clean, his uniform clean. So that's always good too. So, of course, we all know that means that we save the best for last, or maybe. I guess that's how you look at it. I guess I don't know, but as the old saying goes, defense wins championships, and this is no exception. And with the defense losing some very key players last year in the draft, um, Jonathan Sutherland, linebacker, PJ Mustafer, Jair Brown, and Porter Jr. all drafted. Some of those guys, linebackers, defensive line, and cornerback and safety, respectively. Those guys are gone now. You know what I mean? And so now you're going to need to have this young and up and coming defense is going to have to come in and step in. Do you know what I mean? And can they do it? This has been kind of a little bit of suspect here for Penn State over the last couple years because when they've needed to, they've been really solid, and sometimes they've given up the big plays, the you know what I'm saying, that kind of thing. That has happened. So this year, I'm hoping to see we can do a little better. They did have 12 interceptions last year. That's really, really good. Okay. They had 49 sacks for the season. That's really good as well. Okay. So they also had 13 forced fumbles and recovered 12 of them. So that's really good. And they also had a really low 13.46 points per games that they allow points per game that they allowed. So defense did really well. Occasionally had some and then the offense kind of let them down too a little bit in some games too, especially the Ohio State game and the Michigan game. Those are games that Penn State needs to win in order to get to where they want to be, which is the playoffs or which is Big Ten championships, instead of just going to bowl games. Look, 9-2 or 9-3 or whatever is not cutting it. Those are great winning seasons, but you need to be that 10-2, 11-1 in order to get to the playoffs, and that means you need to beat either Michigan or Ohio State, respectively, in your year. So this is what I think needs to happen for Penn State. This is the 2024 season review, and I see some good things coming out of Penn State. I think with them coming out of the gates ranked number 8 in the AP poll, that's going to be tough to live up to. They were kind of ranked pretty high coming out of the gates last season as well. That never historically has not bode well for Penn State. When they come out of the gates ranked like that, it usually does well for them to be ranked in the top 25, but then as the season progresses and they win, they progressively get better and higher ranked. I think that has historically gone better for Penn State instead of them being higher ranked coming out of the gates. That just means that their strength of schedule is going to be taken and looked at massively this year, and we'll see how it's going to go for this team. I can't wait for the game to kick off on August 31st against West Virginia Volunteers. I mean, we are talking Penn State football already. Alrighty. And I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about this season coming up, and I can't wait for the Penn State Nittany Lions to take the field, and I can't wait to see you guys all on the next edition of the Nittany Report. We'll catch you all on the next one.